course of time, it will join with Kingdom Hearts as a whole. The body, if it is destroyed first, without a heart, it just disappears. It withers and dies. If the Heartless dies first, followed by a body, the two of them have a choice. If they are strongly connected enough, if the heart is strong enough, if the body is strong enough, they have a chance of rejoining as one into the original being. So technically, this plus this, as a body and soul, or a heart and body, should have equaled this after it was defeated in sequence, which is why all the, and a lot of the other organization members probably smited at one point or another, so killed a lot of Heartless.
Yep. Yes, he did.
There's really no way to get, but it's to be assumed that at least with the original apprentices, that all their Heartlesses were also destroyed, and
before
when nobodies were destroyed in the organization, they all eventually reformed as well into their original human bodies.
Why did they wake up back in the room where, in that one room, instead of where they were killed, where their body was?
That's where they did the experiments.
It's where they either did the experiment or where they were originally turned into a Heartless.
Yeah.
It's never really cleared up because I don't know why Axel would have been there. Because when we last saw him, he was in Radiant Garden and Hurt by Sleep, he wasn't really welcomed at the castle.
They were trying to sneak in though. Maybe he snuck in and they captured him.
Yeah, maybe they did sneak in and then...
They captured him, maybe they experimented on it or something.
Yes.
One thing I thought about that was for when Lee and Isaac did that, it almost, and this is again theory, not
Yeah, I'm thinking
whatever,
they like snuck in,
they walk up
got captured, and instead of asking permission, yeah, they got experimented on. Like maybe they were the first two where they were tested out, like, let's test you. Might as well before we tested ourselves.
Potentially, at this point they could have already started the experiments.
Right.
Yeah.
Word got out.
Yeah, and to be honest, they were collecting people from the town to actually commit the experiments.
Find people with strong enough hearts.
Yeah.
Plus, Axel looks significantly older in comparison to like Lee, so
yeah, well,
it could be a number of years later when he's actually welcome at the castle.
Yeah, but, and this is a thing though, and it's that whole 10-year gap between Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 1, who knows when they could have become Heartless and Nobodies at that point. It could have been 6 years after. It could have been 3 days after the events of, you know, we don't know. There's a decade of time where
Maybe for Vexen it did.
10 years
he was
is
old.
a lot of time for things to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Change.
Regardless of that, what I do know is that Ienzo had a hell of a growth spurt.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he just woke up and he was like, "Sup, girls?" He was hiding behind Evan's lab coat, and then the next day he's just, you know, full of sexy and emo.
Roxas supposed to be able to create his own heart. Can Kara do that?
Could he? I would.
Wait a second.
I would say not, because his heart is technically, it's basically locked deep within the possessed body.
Yes. Because Xehanort has control over that. And
Same as Ericus.
Yeah, I think that's when he locked his own heart away at the end of Birth by Sleep when Aqua was about to rescue him. Master Xehanort took full control and he was like, nope, not doing it, and then shanked himself. And locked that part of Terra away. Pretty much as far as we know for good. At least at that point in time. Because again, we get this and this, and everything gets really hodgepodge.
Does this mean, because Roxas has his own heart, does that mean that Roxas and Ventus could be in the same room?
Yes.
Yes. Certain circumstances would have to be rectified before that. And that's another thing we could get into right now. But yes, pretty much anybody, and this is something that they go into in Kingdom Hearts 3D. Nobodies were originally told by Xemnas that they had no hearts, that Kingdom Hearts was there, that they would get a heart from Kingdom Hearts. This is a fallacy. Nobodies are perfectly able to regrow their own hearts if their original Heartless is, you know, dealt with. It's fully within their power. Xemnas is a lying bastard. He manipulated all of them because the origin and reason behind the organization was that they were going to become his vessels. He lied to all of them. And I feel the worst for Saïx. I feel pity for Saïx because he is the truest form of the nobody. No emotions, just wants his heart. The very last words that he has is as he, you know, being smited, he's looking up to Kingdom Hearts, pining for a heart. And the entire time he was lied to, manipulated, Xemnas manipulated him against his best friend. And that's just how he ended. And now he's one of the vessels, so he's got even less of a choice. I pity the guy. Cool facial scar, I feel bad for him. He's really big dick.
It's all shit.
Speaking of which, Jason.
Speaking of which, Jason.
Nomura said in an interview that once they become a vessel, that they can't be changed back, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
it is a
Wait a
state of
second.
permanence.
So Sykes is doomed forever?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, damn.
That's why he says he has pity for him. He's like,
I
pity,
highly
pity the fool.
doubt, like,
Wait,
the
Axel
story
seems
of
to want to
Kingdom Hearts
save him
itself
though.
is
I feel
about
like there's a way to
redemption.
save him somehow.
I mean, that's darkness becomes light. That's the entirety of the story itself. So there's a high chance, like in plot-wise, that they'll find a way to save Isa.
All that
Yeah.
armor
It's
gets
going to
away.
be very, very, very hard to do.
Yeah, Wade wants to.
They want to.
Would it be harder
Sora
to...
would.
Seriously though, is it easier to save Para? Is it easier to save Sykes? Para.
Sora, everybody should be saved. We're like, not everybody.
Poor Sora gets
One
it
of
all
my
lumped
friends
on him
is
like,
really big
"Yo, Sora,
Sora
you have to do it."
Like she loves Sora. She's just absolutely in love with the character, everything that he does, everything he's about, what he does, his character motivations, the fact that he could have gone home with the girl he loves at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. And so he was like, well, I gotta go find my homie.
My homie.
And he went off into
Bros.
Oh man.
Oh.
It was 15. Calm down.
You get to an age where hormones. So anyway.
Wait, what?
Tell us about that, Tara.
If anything is going to happen with the rest of them, it's going to be done by Sora, because when, like my friend, we got really mad there, she was like, well, they're making a lot of new characters, and they're cooler and more age appropriate for the gamers that, you know, are going for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I'm afraid they're going to phase out Sora. And I was like, well, here's the secret ending, if you don't mind.
Yes, Sora's gonna save everyone.
They are prophesizing Sora.
They're
Every
like,
one of them. Every one of them looks up to the sky and just goes,
Sora!
they know.
they
They're
know.
not phasing Sora out at all.
What you talking about?
Except in 3D.
Said in an interview that this really isn't spoiled, but Sora was actually supposed to be Ventus Reborn, but he didn't think that would work because Western audiences wouldn't get it, probably.
I can get
Just
that. Also,
reincarnations.
here's the thing. When you start having characters like this, they build fan bases. And when you make them into other characters, you anger the fan base.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's, they're being very aware of that. Like, there once was a time where they could come out with games and just be like, well, this character did this, and people would be like, all right, well, that's just how the story goes. But then we started going to conventions and doing panels and dressing up. And they realized that there's this entire culture that loves these characters to the point where we'll say nasty things on them at the internet if they words hurt.
Words hurt.
Moving on. Example A. Aventus.
Aventus.
Whole, as a being, Keyblade wielder, heart, body, and soul in one. Vanitas.
Dark side.
Example A. Ventus. Example A-1. Vanitas. Same character, same being, split into light and dark. Perfect halves of one character split into light and dark. Yes.
We back up ever so slightly. I don't keep up so much with the Nomura interviews as much as I should. Have they ever confirmed who Ven's original master was? Who passed him the power of the Keyblade?
No, they did not. It was.
Oh, so
It could be Xehanort.
It could be Xehanort.
He was Xehanort. He was the original apprentice of Xehanort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then stuff went down, and Xehanort was like, well, I broke him. America's handled this.
Oh, God.
I broke him.
Oh, I broke him.
I was just wondering if it was ever explicitly confirmed. Okay.
Yeah.
Here,
But I mean,
I'm
we
back.
have
That's horrible.
people, you know, get the ability to use Keyblades on their own. It doesn't necessarily have to be passed down.
Yeah,
I think
like
it's,
Sora.
It's,
I mean, Sora
it
just
only
like-
assumes that like in the past
Sora
it was
breaks
passed
everything.
down.
Sora breaks everything.
No offense, but like I think that like probably in those times it was like a passed down thing because everyone was so surprised when Sora was like, "You guys got it."
Yeah.
Yeah, Sora was the only exception to the Keyblade wielder
Where did that come from?
who didn't get it.
Okay, I got a Keyblade.
Well, now she did Aqua. Aqua.
Yeah, accidentally touched her Keyblade
Yes.
and then became a wielder.
Yeah, so Kyrie's not an exception either. Sora's
But
the only
I thought
exception.
Riku was the one who handed Kairi that Keyblade
No,
in the
well,
second
No,
one.
well, okay, we're...
This is going into a whole different stream of.
Okay.
Ability to wield.
We
Okay.
can get
Okay.
into Keyblades in a minute because we're going
Aqua
up.
was a
Yes.
master.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
theory on Sora being able to wield the Keyblade is because
his heart was merged with Ventus's.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is where he acquired it. But, and this is one of the 3 types of acquirement, or as they call it, bequeathing in the game. You can gain a Keyblade through power of light, through power of darkness, or power of heart. And we've seen all 3 of them. And pretty much Sora, Kylie, and Rika. It wasn't so much that Ventus bequeathed one to Sora, it was the fact that they became one person. And which eventually gave Roxas the ability to dual wield after he reabsorbed Xion. And after Sora reabsorbed Roxas, he gained the ability in Final Mix Plus to triple wield a Keyblade.
Yeah.
Which is
Sora, Roxas,
everybody
Xion.
remembers the fight scene between Sora and Roxas in the station, and it was just a cutscene in the American games, where Roxas was back in the hood, and it was just a cutscene here.
Yeah.
In Japan, it was a fight. It was a playable fight. One of the reaction commands is that you can take Roxas's Oblivion and Oathkeeper Keyblades, and Sora is wielding whatever he's equipped with, and the other 2 just cycle around him like a boss.
Like a boss. Very, very fun fight.
We get to the concept that if you absorb more hearts, you could literally
Like Sora's
just
final
have,
form?
you could be like Cable
Yeah.
from X-Men, just
he had
have
just, like, float when he
Keyblades
had the
strapped
2
all
Final
over.
Master. I'm sure you've seen the image.
Wielding
Yeah,
that, everyone can dual wield it. Each Keyblade is tethered to 1 heart. So the more hearts that you have, the more Keyblades you
How many hearts does Sora have?
He has a lot of heart.
Oh, he's a Motel 6.
Yeah, seriously. He has his own.
Possibly, either that or it's just because he's Magneto, Master of Magnetism.
I was gonna say 2 things. In regards to that, the reason Xehanort can do that is most of those Keyblades are dead Keyblades. Essentially, just metal now.
because they don't have hearts.
They don't have the wieldings. And also, I was going to say, in regards to the dual wielding thing, we see that another perfect example of that again at the end of 2 with the fight with Xemnas, when Riku gets knocked down and Sora's just like, I'll borrow this real quick. And just
Yeah.
goes to town.